So today we are making a video on the Arkane Linux. So here it is, the boot options, Arkane Linux installer, UEFI. So let's quickly boot it. So I don't know anything about this Arkane Linux because I didn't made any previous videos on this thing. So that's the reason we need to get all the information from the website and some other sources. I'm going to show you the downloading process and all those things. You don't need to worry about that. And I'm running on the VirtualBox with 8 GB of RAM and i5 1240p CPU. And I didn't choose any of the hard disk. I didn't create any virtual disk or anything like that. So I'm going to run it on the live boot and let's see what happens. So I already made another video of Peppermint OS, which is the latest ISO file available. Version is 2024 07.01, which is July Peppermint OS ISO file. So already a video is available in the channel. If you want to check it out, you can check it out in my channel. So usually it should take like 2 or 3 minutes, but it's pretty much very quick. As you can see, it took just maybe like a minute and a half like that. So let's open the, before that let's first change the display settings. Let's go to display settings. We need to wait for a few more seconds, I guess. So it's a bit of delay here to use this Linux distro because it just booted up. So let me first change the display settings. So the welcome screen was trying to load, so I forgot that. So let's see the 1920 into 1080 with a 16:9 ratio. I'm going to apply this display settings. Before that, let's check the system and about the system. So it's Arkane Linux, hardware, VirtualBox, processor 12 Gen, which I already mentioned, memory 8 GB, disk capacity unknown because I didn't choose any of the virtual disk here. So here is some of the information. GNOME version, you get the latest version of 46. Windowing support, windowing system, Wayland. So try to ignore a bit of mistakes or misspellings throughout the video because I'm going to keep the video as raw as possible. I'm just going to, usually I will be trimming in the boot options because sometimes when I don't talk, I'm just going to trim that part. But in this case, not in this case, in most of the Linux distro, I'm trying to keep the content as soon without trimming or anything like that. So there will be a misspellings and all those some errors, not the errors from the Linux, like misspellings and mistakes from me. So try to ignore that, or else you can just let me know in the comment sections. There is no problem with that. So before that, let's close the info. Here is the welcome screen, English. So welcome to Arkane Linux. This program will guide you through the installation process. So I think this is the installer. I'm not going to install this. We're going to do that later if we want. So before that, let's check how it works. So you get these basic applications default, so which are completely from the GNOME desktop environment. So there is nothing added from the Arkane Linux here. So if you ask whether to use this Linux distro or not, usually you get the GNOME desktop environment, and there are a lot of GNOME desktop environment distros like Ubuntu, Manjaro, Linux Mint. So there are a lot of options available. You can go with all those things. So there is no specific thing to go with the Arkane Linux. So while seeing the desktop environment, you don't get any of the different applications or anything like that. So it's clearly up to you whether to use this Linux distro or not, because there is nothing really changed, just the wallpapers maybe. Let's open the browser. I forgot to open the system monitor to see how much of resources it is consuming. Let's open the system monitor. So let's move the browser in the left side corner so you can see properly. So let's make it bigger. So these are all the processes running right now in the Arkane Linux. So by using this Linux distro just for a few minutes, it's pretty much very much laggy, as you can see. There is no smooth animations or anything like that. There is nothing smooth running in the distro. As you can see, it's almost like a 2 GB of RAM. So, and you need to understand that the ISO file you should be running when you choose in the virtual machine, you should be checked the option UEFI because it runs only on the UEFI. So here is the 2 GB of RAM, and here is the CPU. CPU is almost 90%. There is nothing running other than the browser, which is Firefox. Firefox usually doesn't consume that much of resources like Chrome or the Chromium based browsers, but I think there will be some issues, I guess. CPU, as you can see, there is no stable graph. Usually the graph should be like below 30%, but in this case it's almost 85%. That's the reason there is a major lag, or it's not pretty much smooth, or it's clearly not smooth as other GNOME desktop based Linux distros. So I'm going to keep the system monitor in the right side corner throughout the video, so you can see all the changes throughout the video. So let's type in about support to get some distro information and some browser information. Let's click on enter. Then you get of Firefox is 127, which is latest version. User agent, operating system, the memory size, RAM size, disk space, and all those things is here. You can just pause the video and read everything on this thing, or else you can just change the playback speed in the YouTube settings to see all those things in a slow-mo. So even when I using page up, page down button, it's pretty much laggy. And vendor ID is Mesa, LLVM pipe. So window protocols and all those things, you get everything is here. You can just pause the video and read everything. So let's scroll it down. So it's almost 2.1 GB, 80% of CPU. So let's go to the official website. So we need to type in like Arkane Linux. So here is the website. So you can just try to type in like this URL in the search bar, which is arkanelinux.org, and you will be taken to their official website. So Arkane Linux is an opinionated, immutable, atomic arch-based distribution which aims to provide a GNOME-centered experience with a minimal yet full-featured and sensible non-intrusive defaults. So if you want, you can read everything by going to their website, but it's pretty much laggy. So you get all the information from their website. So I have like a 1240p CPU, which is i5, and I have like a 8 GB RAM, and in this case that's pretty much worthless, I guess. So again, you need to remember this is a live boot, so that's also you need to remember. So if you want to try to test it, you can test it on your own, there is no problem. Never install any of the operating systems directly before testing. So always try it in the virtual machines or the live boot. After you're satisfied, then go with the installation. So let's go to the downloads. So the images below should be considered. Yeah, you need to understand that it's a beta quality. So I forgot to mention that also. So when it's a beta quality, you should be having this type of issues. So there is nothing wrong if it's a beta version, so it's pretty much okay. So if it was stable, you need to just skip this part, but it's a beta version, it's pretty much just for the testers. So you can test all those type of beta versions in the virtual machines. So that's the reason I always say, even if it's a stable ISO file, you need to wait for like at least a week, whether they will be having some issues with the bugs and all those things. They will be releasing a point updates. So the system requirements is like a 64 GB minimum for the storage or the hard disk, RAM 4 GB minimum, I'm using 8 GB, and CPU AMD 64 or the x86 64-bit. boot options, you need to choose UEFI. Internet required during installation. I already have the internet also. So this is a beta ISO file, so it's clearly testing ISO file. So you should be facing all those things. That's pretty much common for almost every Linux person. If it's a beta version or the development version, you should be facing all those lag and issues, sometimes crashes. So it's pretty much okay for me. So the Arkane Linux GNOME, the Immutable flagship Arkane release, the ISO file is like a 1.8 GB. So the download will be started here. So again, if you are a distro hopper or if you are a person who want to try the latest Linux distros, you can try it on the virtual machine. Remember, this is a beta version, or the beta ISO file. So I'm going to close the browser and let's open the applications. So I'm going to open like a bunch of applications. So usually I'll be doing stress test in every type of Linux videos in my channel. So I randomly open like a 15 to 20 applications which consumes a bit of resources to see whether this Linux distro will handle the stress test for the day-to-day task. So if we see any crashes or anything like that, you need to just skip this version, or you can just go to the previous versions or wait for the stable version. So that's the objective or the meaning of stress test in my channel. So there is already a beta version which is mentioned in the official website. So you need to just wait for the stable versions. So that's the point in this video. So usually in every video I'll be doing this type of test to see whether this type of distros will handle or not. So in this case everything is pretty much already a bit laggy, but let's try to test it. So whether we see any crashes or anything like that. So everything is opening instantly, so that's pretty much good work. Even it's a beta, it's still opening applications. So there is a minor lag, you need to just ignore that when you're trying to test. So because they already mentioned it's a beta version, so you can't say anything there about that. So I pretty much opened a bit of resource consuming applications, so everything is running good. Let's open some applications. So we are good with this. Let's try to switch the applications. Let's go to the Firefox. It's opened instantly. Let's get to the maps instantly. Let's open the files. No lag or anything. Instantly opening everything. That's pretty much good work. So let's check the system resources. Let's see how much of system resources it's consuming. So the RAM is almost 3.3 GB. Let's make it bigger so you can see properly. So these are all the process running right now when we open all those things. So there is a bit of lag and it's not pretty much smooth, so you just need to ignore that when you are testing the beta file. Other than that, everything is opening instantly. So I didn't face any crashes of applications or errors, didn't respond like that. We didn't get any of the notes or the pop-up screens. So everything is working good. And when you see the graph, there is like a minor hiccup, so you need to consider that also. So if you are a normal user, try to just ignore this Linux distro. But if you are a person who try to test new Linux distro, or you like the distro hopping, you can test it in the virtual machine, or you can try it in the live boot also. So don't try to install it again and again, I'm warning, because it's a beta version. So let's go to the resources and let's check the applications information and end the video, because there is nothing other than some basic GNOME desktop applications. So we didn't see anything special other than not anything special in this Linux distro, just some basic GNOME desktop environment based Linux. So that's my point of view and that's my final thoughts. So if we had any maybe at least changes in the like some fancy things or some applications which is from that Linux distro, there will be some changes, but you get the basic GNOME 46 desktop environment, which is pretty much available in Ubuntu and all those applications already. Not just Ubuntu, there are a lot of GNOME based Linux distributions which are well known. So If you ask me whether to use this Linux distro or go with the Ubuntu's, I just let you know that you just go with the well-known Linux distros. So even it's well known, it's better to go with the Ubuntu or the Manjaro Linux Mint, this type of Linux, because it's still in the beta version. So you need to consider that also. So Ubuntu and Linux Mint and some other Linux distributions which is already famous, they already have the stable ISO files. You can go with the stable ISO file instead of waiting for the beta. So here are all the applications installed, and under the updates you don't have any updates. About software, there is a bit of lag again, 46 plus. Preference, there is minor lag again. You can customize according to your wish if you are testing this Linux distro. Software repositories, FlatHub, all those options. Let me close this. Here is our file manager. The version should be 46 because everything in this which applications which comes with the GNOME desktop environment should be 46, and some of the applications will be a bit lower or maybe higher point updates like this. You can check the file system by going to other locations, Arkane Linux, and you can check all those things. You can customize or you can view the files. So you know how the GNOME-46 can be customized. So there is already a GNOME-46 website or the GNOME website to show all the changes in the GNOME-46. So I don't need to explain that. So there is also a video in my channel if you want to go through the GNOME-46 desktop environment. So about maps, you get the 46. So browser, which I already showed, so don't want to make the video lengthy. So new camera font, because I turned off my camera, 46.3. Calendar, same, you get almost everything with 46. Let's close it. About boxes, you get the 46 again. View images, which is image viewer. So CPU is still at 85%. I don't know, for some reason, because of maybe the beta ISO file, it's still on the 85-86%. So that's a negative thing, and we can't say anything because it's a beta version, so I'm just going to keep it like that. About celluloid, you get the 0.27, and about the calculator, you get the 46. So let's go to the settings and see whether we have any changes in the wallpapers and all those things. Let's go to change background. So I think this wallpaper is from Arkane Linux. I don't really remember there is some wallpapers like this in the GNOME-46. But if you know that, do let me know in the comment section. So let's go with the light colors instead of dark colors. So usually it will take a bit of time when choosing the appearance. So I think there is a lag or something like that. I can't even move I can't even select anything. So here we have network, Bluetooth, again these are all same things. Range, power, tasking. Let's default and see. So we get some basic wallpapers from the GNOME itself. I think this one is from the Arkane Linux. I don't exactly say from Arkane Linux because I don't really remember. So I'm a person who makes 2 videos daily without missing. So it's pretty much very hard to remember those things. I hope you understand that. Under notifications, search, online accounts, mouse touchpad, again these are all the same things. Keyboard, same. Color, printers, accessibility, privacy and security. So these are all the same things you get from all the GNOME based desktop environments or the Linux distros. So there is nothing difference from the other Linux distros when compared to Arkane Linux. Just the name changed with Wallpaper doesn't have that much of info. It's just for if you are a normal user, you just don't notice those things unless you go to the official website and read everything. So if you're a normal user, I don't really see any changes. If you're a pro user, you should be getting all the information in the official website. So again, this is a beta version, and my final thoughts are clearly it's a beta version. It's good for testing, but it's not good for main PC or work PC. So I'm going to end this video by saying all those things. So that was my point of view, and before that, let's don't forget about the installation. Here is the installation. So again, you need to have a disk. I didn't set up a disk, and I don't want to install it even on the virtual disk. So I'm going to end the video here. Let's close it. Let's see the logout screen and end the video. So there is already a video of Peppermint OS because I'll be posting 2 videos. So there is already a video in the channel. If you want to check that out, you can check it out. So it's automatically booting in the Arkane Linux live boot. There is no password or anything like that unless you install that on your virtual disk. So I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. Peace out.